Good evening, everyone. Jasper Gonzo here. Another episode of What's Next, your daily dose of common sense and facts. And yes, I did say good evening. This is the nighttime edition. Well, Thor 4 or Thor Thunder and Love or Love and Thunder or whatever the hell it's called gets compared to Clooney's Batman and Robin, that hideous film by Joel Schumacher. And, well, in other news, Valkyrie demanded that the gayness be in her character. And in more other news, there's a gay Spider-Man. Oof. Let's go. This comes out of Cosmic Book News. Thor Love and Thunder, a disaster compared to Batman and Robin. Kevin Feige's Phase 4 might have another big failure following all the Disney Plus shows and MCU films have been a total disappointment or dumpster fire, depending on your view. Thor Love and Thunder might be the next big failure to come from Kevin Feige's Phase 4, as the flick is being compared to Batman and Robin, the worst Batman movie of all time, starring George Clooney. Twitter user Christian Toto, who runs a blog that is described as Right Take on Entertainment and also writes for the Daily Wire, tweeted out his reaction to Thor Love and Thunder, offering this film as a tonal disaster and more. Saw Thor Love and Thunder for review next week. Can share it's way more Batman and Robin than any other superhero film should be. Tonal disaster, states the tweet. Yikes. Comparing Thor Love and Thunder to Batman and Robin isn't a good sign. Comparing Thor Love and Thunder to Batman and Robin isn't a good sign, as the 1997 movie directed by Joel Schumacher is a 12% on Rotten Tomatoes with a 16% audience score. Yikes. The lowest of any Batman movie in history. The film is really goofy. Schumacher gave George Clooney's bat suit nipples for some unknown reason, and also starring the flick includes Chris O'Donnell as Robin, Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl, Schwarzenegger as Freeze, Thurman as Poison Ivy. It was simply awful and led to Batman being shut down at Warner Brothers for years until Christopher Nolan came and saved it. Well, we go from that to this. This comes out of Bounding in the Comics. Thor Love and Thunder star Tessa Thompson says portrayal of Valkyrie's bisexuality was a big topic of conversation between her and director Taika Waititi. According to Thor Love and Thunder star Tessa Thompson, she and director Taika Waititi, I will butcher his name and I don't really care, spent a fair amount of time on the set discussing the intricacies on how to properly portray Valkyrie's bisexuality when it never existed in the upcoming Marvel sequel. Thompson opened up about her conversations regarding the Valkyrie's alphabet identity during the recent interview with Yahoo Entertainment published June 29th, telling the news outlet that, quote, "We talked about a lot. It was a big topic of conversation. Because I think rightfully there's a real want in the audiences to see characters to be very clearly queer or alphabet inside these spaces." No, Tessa. No. No one's asking for it because no one wants it. The actress, who is by herself, of course, said, "I think it's hugely important to have that representation." She continued, "And also, as humans, I think that we are not defined by our sexuality." Well, what are you doing then? And by who we love. And so sometimes I think to hang a narrative completely on that way of actually diminishing the humanity of the character because you don't allow them to be anything else. However, despite the special care and attention given to the subject by both Waititi and herself, Thompson revealed that the film ultimately spends no time exploring Valkyrie's love life, noting that when the character's sexuality is brought into the spotlight, it becomes only the storyline. Thompson asserted that this rang true, particularly in a movie like this, where you don't frankly have a lot of room for storyline, because no one gives two fucks. So there was a lot of conversation in terms of how to treat that with Valkyrie, she added. And I feel really good, personally, about what we got to. I hope that she's a character that fans continue to connect to and that we have a lot of time to explore her in all of her humanity. The actress concluded, but whether or not she finds love in this movie doesn't mean she's still not a fabulous queer character that is open to finding love when it makes sense. Interestingly, a variation of this explanation was reportedly given to Waititi to Thompson during the filming of Thor Ragnarok as to why a scene which would have provided explicit on-screen confirmation of Valkyrie's bi-ness, rather than leaving the fact that the film's cast and crew to pronounce in interviews, was ultimately left on the cutting room floor. Why? Because they were smart, not stupid. Thompson even summoned the courage to pitch Waititi on the making Valkyrie Bisexual. Yes, because canon actually means something. I'm sorry, or then again, canon really doesn't count because no one cares, because look what they did. Rolling Stone reporter Amy Nicholson in a summary of conversation he had with the actress during the interview. She convinced Waititi to shoot a glimpse of a woman walking out of Valkyrie's bedroom. He kept it in the film as long as he could. Eventually, the bit had to be cut because it distracted from the scene's vital exposition. I'm sure it was. There were things that we talked about we allowed to exist in a characterization, but maybe not to be explicit in the film, Thompson told Nicholson. There's a great shot of me falling back from one of my sisters who had just been slain. In my mind, that was my lover. Let's keep it moving. And we go from that nonsense to more nonsense. Marvel Comics introduced first gay Spider-Man. How's that? Disney woke. Marvel Comics is set to debut its first openly gay Spider-Man with effeminate characteristics dressed in lace in an upcoming book due out in September. The comic book company first introduced fans of its plans with a June 16th solicitation that described the new character as Web Weaver. A not-so-mild-mannered fashion designer, surprised at Van Dyne, gets spider powers somehow and shows a very different kind of spider slayer. Again, surprised? According to comic book resources. But that's not the only notice revealed by the company's employees. Writer Steve Fox also noted that he has a huge gay honor in introducing the first gay Spider-Man. Yes. Surprise. I had a huge gay honor in helping co-create I knew I was going to butcher it. Web Weaver, who will make his debut in Edge of Spider-Verse #5 in September. Fox also added in another tweet that he didn't make his new gay character representative of all gay men. No, it wasn't about all my representation. And according to the frilly, lacy costume and stereotypical pose in the character reveal, it appears that the Web Weaver will represent an effeminate version of homosexuality. Something I realized immediately when conceiving Web Weaver is that he can't and shouldn't represent all gay men. No single character can. Well, his fearless femme identity is central to who he is, but it's not the story, which you can experience for yourself in September. Artist Chris Ancap also posted a tweet revealing the character's costume design, showing their flowing sleeves, clam eyelashes around the eye, blackening, and lace collar. There have been other gay spider characters. In 2003, for example, the company featured a lesbian version of Mary Jane Watson. Of course they did. Who fell in love with a female character, Sunfire. But there has not been an expressly gay version of Spider-Man. Well, anybody who remembers that, yeah, that tanked. Web Weaver will debut in Edge of Spider-Verse #5, due out in September. My thoughts. First, Thor 4, or Love and Thunder, Thunder and Love, Thunder and Lightning, Earthquake, whatever it's called, being compared to the hideous Batman and Robin starring George Clooney. Yes, bat nipples and all. Oof. That doesn't bode well for this movie. Second, Tessa Thompson forced Waititi to put the gayness into her character of Valkyrie, even though it's factual that she's not. It's called canon. But then again, when has Marvel ever gave a damn about canon ever since Tony died? And third, a gay Spider-Man. You knew it was going to happen. It was only a matter of time before this was going to happen. Stan Lee made it very clear. Peter Parker's not gay. Straight kid from Brooklyn. But this is not Peter Parker. We don't know who this web weaver is. But it could be RuPaul. You don't know who it is. It could have been anyone. But these are just perfect examples of how to ruin characters. Or existing characters. Or just being lazy and can't create new characters of your own. You look at Thor. Thor has been emasculated and has been deballed by Kevin Feige. Thor is no longer Thor. Thor's not even Thor in his own fucking movie. He's a sidekick. He's an afterthought. Then you have the nonsense with Valkyrie. And then to finish it off, you have the Alphabet Spider-Man. And of course, Marvel Comics continue to tank. So let's just throw more gasoline onto the fire and do something stupid like a gay Spider-Man. But then again, that's just me, a fan. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Berganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more just like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it. And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.